Continuing along in first degree brown belt, we now begin to introduce you to self-defenses versus a weapon. We're going to look at initially versus the stick, then we will look at versus the blade, and then versus the gun, both handgun and long gun. Something that's very important to understand is that when a person pulls out a weapon on you, the heightened threat level is so much greater, and because of the seriousness of this, we don't teach this to beginners right away. So we're now at first brown and you're learning weapon defenses for the first time, which means that Mr. Touch has been training for many years, for example, and this is when we start playing with weapon disarms. And because it is such a serious threat, your best defense against a stick, against a blade of any kind, is to run. And run fast, run far. If you can't run, try and put distance between you and the threat. You can put distance between you and your threat, for instance, if there's a car, go on the other side of the car. Use the car as a barrier. As we talked about in the last belt with a chair, keep the chair between you, which puts that object in his path and allows you more time to escape. So when a person pulls a weapon, run. Even as an experienced martial artist, whenever you can, exit the situation. However, sometimes you can't run. Maybe there's a wall. Maybe you have a little child with you that will not be able to run with you and you have to defend them. So this is when we start to look at these self-defenses. Now, because it is a serious threat, my response is going to be a serious response. I'm not going to worry about, oh geez, I took the stick away from the person and I just controlled the situation. No. If this person has a weapon, this is a high threat level, and if they're trying to hurt you, I'm going to hurt him seriously back. And if he understands that, that helps me. Okay? So when we talked earlier with the empty hand self-defenses, there were 8 distances of engagement. What do I mean by that? Let me just slide the stick away for a second. From here, if Mr. Touch was threatening me, the 8 rules of engagement for distance with empty hand was I was out of range. Because I was out of range, my hands could be down. But the minute somebody comes into my critical distance, I no longer keep my hands down. I rotate my center line to protect it, and I get my hands up, whether I'm just talking to the person or I'm actually in a fight situation. So I'm out of range, in range. The next distance is called contact. That's what I can reach him with, whether it's my foot or my hand. Contact. Out of range, in range. Contact. Contact penetration has to do with the execution of your strike with impulse and vector force through the opponent. All right? Out of range, in range. Contact penetration. And then I get into something like contact manipulation. For example, he grabbed my shoulders from behind in the last belt. Remember, I stepped back. I can't be out of range because he's already here. He's now in range and he's got contact. So this would be contact penetration. This would be contact penetration. Contact this way penetration. When I spin him like this towards the ground, that's contact manipulation. Finish him with the knee and punch, kick through the face, cover out. Okay? So we have out of range, in range, contact penetration, contact manipulation, cover out. There's 2 more. Once you cover out, survey. Does he have any friends? If not, and if necessary, last one, re-enter. With a weapon, it's totally different. Okay, so he's got that stick. Rule number 1, when the person has this weapon, you want to divert the weapon away from your targets. You divert the weapon away from your targets by trying to redirect the weapon and also move your body to a different angle of entry. So get out of the way, guide it away. This would be divert. So maybe he's thrusting. This would be the divert action. I've come up the circle, guided it away, this position here, okay? So number 1 with the weapon is divert it away. From this position, the next step is to seize the weapon. Whenever I do anything, I don't want to engage this guy and forget that he's got a weapon. Always control the weapon, okay? So we have from this position here, go ahead. From here, you've got diverted away. From here, seize the weapon. Now I want to control. I control him in this particular technique that we'll teach in a minute. From here, then after divert, seize, control, we start the disarm process, okay? So the 4 rules are, okay, divert, seize, control, disarm. Most important thing when you're dealing with a weapon if you can't run, don't be in the path of the attack. Get out of the way. Control it by seizing it, then worry about the disarm, and then get out of there as quickly as you can. The first weapon, stick. To make it simple, we give you directions. So the first one's straight on, thrusting. Then he'll do circling, descending, reversing, and then after reversing, rising. So we're trying to deal with this attack in the different directions, okay? So he's got the weapon from this position here. Remember we talked about divert, get out of the way. So it's a thrust to my stomach. Now if the thrust was high, what we would do down low, you would simply change to an outward extended block up above. So here we go. So thrusting wood. I'm going to divert the stick away. Now whether it's guiding the stick on the stick itself or the arm of the stick, it doesn't really matter. Just don't let it make contact to your center line. So you rotate, change your angle of entry, pivot back into it. Now to stop him from pulling it back and at the same time to give him instant pain, I'm going to strike down here on the radius. Now there is a good chance that when I do this, the stick will fly out of his hand. Because if you see from here, when I do this movement here, there's a good chance it's going to fly off. In which case it now becomes from here an empty hand technique. But some guys are really strong. They still have that stick. So thrust, get out of the way. Thrusting, straight on wood, code for stick. Block away and strike the radius. Secure, chop the throat here. Right into the throat. Rake down that arm to get it to bend and secure. Step behind. Now if the stick hits the face, that's a bonus. But we're really focusing on this elbow through the face to take it to the ground with an outside leg takedown. From here, downward intercrescent onto the trachea, crushing the trachea. Now I'm going to disarm the stick, so I step on that arm. Cross behind with a big knee drop down onto the chest plate here as I hit the head. Bam! This way through the face. Rotate another knee into the chest plate here as I hit the groin. Come up and hit through the face, kick through, and then cover out. Got the other side. So from here down a bit. So thrusting. So you come up the circle, get out of the way. Strike 1, hit to the throat. 2, rake down that arm, step through an elbow, pivot to take him to the ground. Step on the throat, step on the arm. Cross behind, big knee drop and hit to the head, rotate, hit to the chest and hit to the groin, hit up through the face, kick through, and cover out. Okay? First weapon defense, thrusting, wood. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, please visit our website, www.kenjuteinternational.com, where you too can get involved with Kenjute's online learning program from anywhere in the world. Thanks for watching.